Okie dokie, so right off the bat, this is in fact a VHS. Old school, I know, old school. This came out in the late 90s, really. 1998, as a matter of fact. Now, for those who don't know, Spawn was a very popular comic book character from the 90s, and it was created by Todd McFarlane. Now, it's still around today. You know, Spawn, the comics is still going on, but back in the 90s, it was really popular. It was like the height of its commercial success. And it was independent. It was an independent comic book franchise created by Todd McFarlane. And out of that franchise, the Spawn franchise, it was so popular they made a movie out of it called Spawn, the film, and it came out in 1997, starring Michael J. White as Spawn. And then they would make these cartoons on HBO. And it was a very adult-themed, you know, very mature-rated cartoon. I mean, it wasn't really meant for kids, but as kids, you know, we still watched it anyway. And taking a look at this VHS cover, it's very unique, it's quite collectible, and I'm really glad that I got this when it came out back in the day, because, to be honest, I prefer this over the movie. It's not that the movie was bad. Actually, I'm one of the few people that I thought the movie was actually pretty good. It wasn't too bad, you know, like PG-13. A lot of the violence was gone. The maturity level of the comics was really removed, and it was marketed more towards a younger audience and a wider audience. But the cartoon definitely wasn't. It was very brutal. It was violent. It was just as violent as I would say as the comics, are pretty close to it. Very dark atmosphere, and there's cursing, there's sex, there's blood, there's, you know, gore, and it's just a very adult themed, very heavy cartoon. Now right away you'll notice something weird about the cover. There's a holographic effect, you know, it's one of those gimmicky ones. They did this with the Lost World Jurassic Park VHS as well, and it's got that, you know, holographic effect where it would show the clown's face in the backdrop and then disappear, and then it would the lightning bolts would come down and his eyes would glow yellow or greenish yellow. Yeah, very gimmicky, but still kind of cool, you know. I'm still a sucker for these things. A lot of the green, you know, green and black tends to be the motif of the Spawn. Notice that it's called Spawn 2. And really, it's not an official sequel. It's not Spawn 2 in relation to the film. I know that I think the main reason they called it Spawn 2 was because they had plans to make a Spawn 2, an official film, but they never got around to it. It's been in development limbo for the past 12, 13 years. Really long time. Todd McFarlane says he'll make a Spawn 2, an actual sequel to the live-action film, but I don't know. We have yet to see a trailer. You know, he's been working on it. He's been writing the story and stuff. But yeah, just keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully, it does come out. Right there, rated R. You know, Canadian home video rating. It's rated R. So definitely for a mature audience. Runtime for 144 minutes. Quite long. Very, very long, actually. Uncut collector's edition for mature audiences. Dolby surround, closed captioned. There's a warning in here, FBI, da-da-da-da-da, you know, you can't reproduce it without permission or whatever, breaking copyright rules. Todd McFarlane, Spawn 2. Todd McFarlane's hellspawn returns to battle the forces of evil on Earth in this powerful second feature-length installment of Spawn. How can you avenge betrayal and murder? How can you fight for right in a world so steeped in evil? How can you protect those you love most from all that can do them harm? I'm horrible at reading at this. No man, living or dead, can tell you, but one trapped between both is struggling for an answer that can save the lives of his most beloved, or plunge the world into eternal darkness. The cloak and chains of Spawn are back. Exploding from the comic book page onto the screen is a deadly tornado of unwrapped, merciless power. Phew. McFarlane. Home Box Office presents Todd McFarlane Spawn, supervising director Eric Radomski, supervising producer Catherine Winder, developed for TV by Alan McElroy, co-producers Karen Horn, Terry Fitzgerald, produced by John Kafka, executive producer Todd McFarlane, written by Larry Brody and John Shirley and Victor Bombolo and Jared Brown and Rebecca Bradford and John Leakley. Wow, that is a lot of writers. 1998, Home Box Office, a division of Time Warner. Multi-image VHS case. Right, it's a multi-image, effect. The card. VHS case by Gilardi Design. Multi-image is a trademark of Gilardi. Oh, I didn't know it was a trademark. Wow, okay. Multi-image. Todd McFarlane, HBO. I really like the cover, the packaging. The box is really nice. It's very, very Spawn-esque. It's definitely dark. Suits the franchise really well, and it's very eye-catching. If you really wanna, when it comes down to it, if you're gonna buy something and you see this on the shelves, you might be enticed to buy it. It's definitely a cool packaging. So let's talk about the movie, and there you have it. Insert this side into recorder. Oh man, I miss VHS. Do we even have a VHS anymore? A VHS what's it called? A player, VHS player. It's been so long since I've used one that I forgot the name of the actual machine. Dang, I'm so used to DVDs and Blu-ray players now. It's like, oh my gosh, these things existed back in the day. This is what we used. See all the tape that's inside? Okay, and it's quite long, 146 minutes. That's a very, very long running time. It's essentially all the episodes of the cartoon. They're released on HBO, all in this one pack. So, I mean, it's pretty plain. Just your basic VHS tape. You got a bunch of warning in here, copyright stuff, don't do this, don't do that, the FBI will get you, all that stuff. And it was a good series, I think, as far as maintaining faithful to the source material. It's a lot more faithful than the live action 1997 movie, definitely. But it's very dark as well, aesthetically. It seems like every scene in this cartoon was very dark. It's like every single part, every dialogue, every scene just felt dark. That's what it was. It was very heavy. It was all about this guy's anguish. Spawn was in pain. He's a hellspawn. He made a deal with malebolgia, the devil, hell, and he continues to roam the streets, the dark streets, the dark alleys, and festering in his own miserable half-life, so to speak. And he can't see his family. He can't see his wife, Wanda, I believe, her name, and the daughter of Wanda. And it's very dark. That's. I mean, if you can sum it up in one word, it's a very dark storyline from the dark, twisted mind of Todd McFarlane. Now, in comparison to the film, to the 1997 movie, I think that most critics and most fans would prefer this over the 1997 film. I like the special effects of the live-action movie, though. It's more visually appealing. I really like it. It's great. I like the use of his cloak, the way that it would transform, the way it would shield him. It's very defensive. I like it. I actually enjoyed it. The only thing missing really was the adult rated R maturity of it. It's just not enough swearing, not enough blood. There's just not enough violence. So that's the most disappointing aspect. This thing has it, definitely has it, but at the same time, I think the art direction it fit the theme of the cartoon. But personally for me, it was a little too dark. It was just like every single scene was like this. It's like you couldn't really see much. Everything was just really black, and you can hardly make out the characters. They would show, like, for example, a scene in the house, inside a house of Wanda and her, what's his name? Tommy, right? Tommy Fitzgerald, which was the the new husband, the former best friend of Spawn, and he's now married to Wanda, which was Spawn's ex-wife. And they would, every time they would show a scene together, and even inside a house, it would be very dark. You couldn't make out anything. So it's like all the lights were gone. It's like they couldn't afford a light bill, and so the lights were turned off. It's set in the middle of night, and it's just like, oh my gosh. But still, I mean, that's what Spawn is all about. That's, you know, that's basically what Spawn is. The motif is very dark. It's all about the heavy atmosphere, the anguish and the pain that, you know, this guy's feeling. His enemy is the clown, Violator. I don't remember much if they actually fought each other. I mean, they would fight occasionally, but it's just like they would have these occasional skirmishes. And the only thing I can really remember was the lovemaking scene. They did it. They did it. They had sex. Basically, it was a sex scene. And also there was a scene where there was this this old woman, and she was being like, I don't know, mistreated by a bunch of thugs, and like they were telling her, oh yeah, show us what you got, and she was like opening up her skirt, and she was like, it was just really kind of just a lot of painful images, a lot of pseudo psychological images that's meant to convey the atmosphere, convey the darkness of this particular character, you know, this the anguish, the pain that he's going through. I mean, from his beginnings, I think it did a good job. From his, you know, the way that the reason he started out, the reason he became a hellspawn, the reason that you know, the chapel killing him and stuff like that, you know, during his military days. Not much to say about the storyline, really. It's if you know Spawn, it's nothing new. It's just a pretty good animated depiction of the comic book. So there you have it. I mean, it's nice packaging. I really enjoy it. The dual image, as they call it. It's on VHS. I don't know if you can find this on DVD. Alright, so that's about it, really. That's all you got. Obviously, I can't show footage of the movie, you know, copyright reasons and stuff like that. And it's a cool package. It's a cool box. I really dig it. Captures the essence of Spawn, the darkness of Spawn. So overall, I'm going to have to give this packaging and the VHS itself, it's the complete collection of the cartoon, so I'm going to have to give it a thumbs up. Pick it up if you can find it. It's fairly dark, good American cartoon in terms of like the maturity level. It's definitely not for kids, but heck, I mean, I was like 12 or 13 when the first time I saw this on TV, so if you want to give it a go give it a shot. And I think at this day and age, there are far more violent cartoons out there, and like just animated shows out there. There's just more violence, more sex and stuff like that. It's not as bad in today's standards, but it's definitely not for kids. So at the same time, you know, the first time I watched this, I was like 13 years old, you know, way back in elementary school. So hey, it's up to you. The choice is yours, but definitely viewer discretion is advised. So that's about it. Thank you for watching again. More reviews to come, and ciao.